Goal was to just be the local guy, 10, 20 miles, get to every booking by train, and just win, lose, or draw, who cares? Pay me enough to pay a light bill. Wrestling could be so much more if you let it. There's so many different avenues within it. I think I learned more from Grim Reefer than probably anyone. I think that the meaning of life is found in joy and service. Let's just make this wrestling thing my version of missionary work. TOS changed everything for me. It took a life of its own because you see this revolving door of people who were in and out of the Church of Greatness. People came to see us. Tyree Taylor in the church versus Dezmond Cole. Greatest storyline I've ever been a part of. People are usually surprised when I say this. I was a very violent child.
Call it how I see it, straight talk, no disguise. So the slang dripping, got the truth in my eyes. Might like gavel, every word, lay it down. Coach C in the booth, turn the game all around. Yeah, it's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business. Yeah, I'm sharp as attack when I call the play-by-play. Every dog got his day, and I make the crowd stay. It's every week we go live on a Wednesday. Dressing so sharp, that's the reason why your friends stay. The youngest in the game to do it, best for business. Coach C is the truth and everybody gonna witness. Love entertainment, you swear it's your destiny. Link with Coach C, we can talk about your legacy. It's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Another episode of Best for Business. I know I say this all the time, but I'm pumped for this one. Brother Greatness, thank you for joining me, but thank you for everything over these years.
Man, it's all love. You know, we've known each other for, we'll have to do some math on this.
I think I was like 12 years old when I met you.
Yeah, so we're talking a good like 8 years or something like that now. So, I mean, it's a long-standing relationship. More than it's good when you see a friend pop up on message and you're going back and forth and trying to set one of these up. It's going to be a fun conversation and good time.
I'm excited for this one. I just came across, I should have brought up the drawing I made for Omega Black back in the day.
I love it. I used to live off those drawings, man. It really, it made the drive so worth it because that Pawtucket drive, that's a trip.
Yeah. But I'm pumped for this one. So we talk pro wrestling. You've done so much, but originally, what was it about wrestling that made you want to get involved in it?
You know, people are usually surprised when I say this. I was a very violent child.
Wow.
I had a real bad temper. So my folks put me in martial arts. And at the same time, I was watching, the Parkers on UPN 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that UPN played in my house all the time. And that's when SmackDown was on Thursdays, came on right after the Parkers. So the match that made me a fan was the debut of Rey Mysterio on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So that got me rocking and rolling, man. That's what really got me started and falling in love with it. And as a kid, I'm fighting, I'm wrestling, freestyle, folk style. Eventually, all the worlds came together.
Wow. Did doing martial arts originally help you for pro wrestling later in the line?
Yeah, 1000%. Because we're just standard karate, but for my sensei, they did a lot of submission fighting and all that kind of stuff. So your footwork mattered, your positioning mattered, and then obviously free and folk style wrestling. I mean, come on now. So it all kind of married each other very easily.
Yeah. So you talk about it. You originally watch on TV, you see the debut of Rey Mysterio, you're hooked on pro wrestling. What age did you decide that wrestling is something you're going to start to approach and try doing?
Yeah, I made that decision. Funny enough, the things we're not supposed to talk about, I end up doing the backyard thing with a bunch of my buddies.
Okay.
And that grew into me deciding at the age of about, I want to say 19 or 20. I sat down and I said, you know what? Let me get trained and hopefully I could be good enough to wrestle locally in New York City and New Jersey. And I will hopefully be able to make enough money to pay a light bill or something like that later on in life. So that was my ceiling. My goal was to just be the local guy, 10, 20 miles, get to every booking by train, and just win, lose, or draw, who cares? Pay me enough to pay a light bill. That was the goal.
So I'm curious, you talk about originally, how do you decide what school do you decide for pro wrestling that's something you want to do? But first, wait, when you talk backyard wrestling, I assume your wrestling name wasn't Brother Greatness then.
No, like every other kid ever, I just took my initials. So it was just BDM.
Okay.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have that conversation with yourself, pro wrestling something you want to do. When do you make the approach that this is something you're going to pursue?
Yeah, no, training was going well. And actually, Tony Mamaluke, when I started training with him, because he used to go to the same school that I was at, he was just there doing his thing, getting his
Yeah.
ring time. I'm trying to learn how to do rolls. Uh, the school I chose was Joel Maximo's Ludus. That was
Hmm.
my very first school, and I spent a lot of time there first. And time with Tony Mamaluke and with Joel Maximo, with Will, with the Zoltans, that's Chris Cage and Whiplash, Superstar Whiplash.
Yeah.
They made me realize that this was something I was actually pretty talented at, and if I kept pushing, that I might be able to be more than just the local guy trying to pay a light bill.
Is there a lesson? Because when I interviewed Joel Maximo, he talks so highly of you. Is there a lesson from him or anyone at that school or Tony that stands out for you?
It's hard for me to say because they're my foundation when it comes to
Okay.
wrestling. So it's to say one lesson would almost cheapen everything else that everyone did for me.
Yeah.
Because when I met Joel, I didn't have cash. I was still in college.
Hmm.
So I came there with a young man named Panic, who, to the best of my knowledge, was a battle rapper for many years after the fact.
Wow.
We go there, and we went there because of Panic. Panic wanted to train under Amazing Red, and obviously, SAT. So I said, hey, let's check out Ludus before we check out Hog. We go, we meet Joel. He's so nice to us. He gets in the ring with us before we even signed up, let us roll around a bit. And we just had such great conversation. And he made me realize wrestling could be so much more if you let it. There's so many different avenues within it.
Hmm.
And I got to watch him do that, succeed in some things, fail in others. But the one thing with Joel, he's never afraid to try something and give it an honest go. So he taught me so much. He gave me fair opportunities. Him and his students, they're my entire foundation for wrestling. And I shared a lot of what I learned from them with other people later on.
Nice. Your story is so unique. Later on, don't you end up learning from like Matt Stryker and Grim Reefer and Red?
Yeah, so a lot happened. I signed up with Joel in
Yeah.
2012. I ended up leaving the school just for financial reasons. I just had as I said, I had no money. So
Yeah.
whenever I had money, I just said, Joel, here's what I got. And I owe him so much. But I ended up getting injured. Had nothing to do with Joel or anything like that. I was
Mhm.
over here messing around with some friends that were like trained elsewhere
Yeah.
and ended up getting hurt. So I broke my skull. So almost died. It was a whole thing, big surgery. That's why, I have that scar there. I don't know if you can
Okay.
still see it under all the
Yeah.
dreads. And the doctors told me I would never wrestle again. They were like, you're done. This is 2014.
Hmm.
They're like, you're done. And I kind of accepted it. So about 2 years later, I'm managing Greg Jones, hitting the road, my buddy Greg.
Yeah.
And, I'm still talking to Dash and a lot of the people that I knew. And over time, I'm starting to realize I'm not having a lot of the symptoms that the doctors talked about. The headache is going away. Maybe I should sign up for another school. Maybe I should consider that. So me and a group of people who wanted to get trained all ended up at FTW, where Matt Stryker and Grim Reefer were the trainers. And I dare say, no disrespect to Joel, to Bronco International, to Matt, to Red, no disrespect to anyone, to Kono Capuccia, to anyone who ever trained me. I think I learned more from Grim Reefer than probably anyone in terms of the in-ring, the in-ring love and work of professional wrestling.
I gotta ask you, what is it about Grim Reefer? Because even when I interviewed Arcady, he talked so highly, said he is one of the best minds in wrestling. What was it like learning under Grim Reefer?
Yeah, he's a genius. He's
Yeah.
a rough individual. He's a tough cat. He's a genius, and he understands what needs to be done to elicit crowd responses. And that's kind of what most of my bookings are predicated on, eliciting the crowd reaction that I want. And he's mastered it. On top of, no one understands how to use the ropes better than Grim Reefer. No one understands timing better than Grim Reefer. When he's motivated, no one can teach you a lesson faster than Grim Reefer. And he just kind of gets it. Not kind of. He almost is it. Like,
Yeah.
if you get it, if you get it, compare it to Reefer, and chances are you didn't really get it yet. Reefer's probably the best professional wrestler that I've ever had the opportunity to learn from.
When I talk about learning from someone, Brother Greatness, you've always stuck out. So I'm curious for you, how does the inspiration for Brother Greatness come in?
Yeah, so and you really mean like the creation of the character, it's barely a
Yeah, the
character.
persona, yeah, everything, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a devout Christian. It's what it is. When I first was making the decision to start wrestling on the indie scene and trying to craft a quote unquote character, I don't remember if it was Whiplash or Cage. One of them just told me, "Hey, whatever you're gonna do, take who you are, turn to an 11 paw, and go out and do that. You're already an interesting guy, so figure it out. So I'm looking through the list, looking at who I am, and first and foremost, before anything else, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, my personal Lord and Savior. Before my cultural heritage, before any dance I like to do, before wrestling or food or anything else you could consider for a quote unquote gimmick. I love my God. I love Jesus Christ, and I love going out and speaking about my Lord and Savior. So I said, you know what? Let's do that. Let's just make this wrestling thing my version of missionary work. You know, if I'm not going to be an usher in the church, or if I'm not going to be in the choir, if I'm just showing up as another brother in service, then let me serve Christ and culture as I'm out in the world. And that's when it lent itself to, okay, so you're a brother, because I'm not trying to be a deacon or reverend, even though I've ended up in these kind of roles over the years. He's just a brother from the church. I'm not a leader. I'm just another guy in the church. And the greatness came from, I end up using different verses over the years. I want to say it's like Mark 25:10 or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Where they discuss that the greatest of you are going to be the individuals who serve. Service is essentially akin to greatness. True greatness is found in servitude. You see that sprinkled throughout the Bible, especially in the gospel. And when I realized that, and I think that the meaning of life is found in joy and service.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, all right, if I'm going to be a servant, let's put it in the name. But I couldn't be brother servant.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, brother greatness, because true greatness is found in servitude.
Wow. I'm curious. You talk about the name Brother Greatness, but originally in pro wrestling, I'm trying to think, are you like the first to interpret, like do stuff with religious and things like that? If so, like how do you do the inspiration for the gear and things like that? Because you are technically like the first.
So there's several others, you know, obviously the big one being Reverend Devon.
Devon, yeah.
That's the big one everybody thinks of.
But didn't he wear like the black though? Was different though for him.
Yeah, he had because the thing for me is I never wanted, and things changed over the years heavily.
Right, yeah.
But I never really was trying to like punch anyone in the face with it.
Right,
so
yeah.
I just had a singlet with a cross, and that's the one, the singlet, the cross with the greatness in it. And then I took the T in greatness, made it a cross, kept it simple. And over the years, I started putting more of the angel wings and Bible verses and different avenues that at the time of making the gear, they were top of mind for me. So it's very rare that you'd see me go out of my way to look up like, hey, I want to look like this guy. No, I'm always thinking, well, this is the type of gear that fits my body best. Singlet, the boxers, tights, what have you.
Yeah.
What do I almost want to tattoo onto it that if you're looking at the gear, you go, are those angel wings? Is that a cross? Is that an Ithacus? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah. I got to ask you, one thing that always stuck out of a Brother Greatness from when I was 12 years old to even when I'm 20 now was the confidence. Did you always have the confidence?
The confidence, that's a great question.
Yeah.
To be honest, man, I wouldn't even call myself that confident individual.
Wow.
Like I overthink things heavily. I'm never that sure about myself. I definitely waver heavily. I'd love if Stan Michael's gonna hear this one day and just be like, he's probably gonna listen to it as soon as it's live. He's just gonna go, "Yep, that's how he is. He's a mess." But for me, it's once I'm stepping out into the world, and I tell my wife this at times. If I'm stepping out into the world and I'm with someone in which I feel comfortable, I get to be the best version of myself, even if it's one amongst a million. So what might happen behind the scenes where I'm stressed out or trying to overthink something, the moment I have a second to pray on it and I'm there with another individual, I'm able to be the best of me. And that's why the positivity comes out even when I'm having a rough day. That's when I'm able to be super confident, especially in wrestling, because I love it.
Yeah.
It makes it easier, and it's infectious because I want other people to feel good when I'm with them, because I don't always feel too great. But if I'm around people, I took time to come out my house, I want to feel good, and I want you to feel good, even if things aren't going exactly the way you hope they would.
Nice. One thing I gotta ask you, I'm excited for this one. What was the original idea behind Omega Black?
Oh man, shout out to Joel Maximo again, man.
Wow.
That's Joel and Greg Jones's baby.
Okay.
That is them. They figured that out, and I just kind of got added in.
Okay.
the original idea of Omega Black, it was a fraternity. It was a black fraternity. That's what it was supposed to be. And it was that for a really long time. Then it became like this empowerment group. Then it just kept evolving. And after a while, it just became the real life brotherhood between myself, GA, Osiris, Dash and D, Greg Jones, and Suntan, Superman, Malice, and all these other individuals. And if it was not for Omega Black, I don't know if I get to break into New England as quickly as I did, because we all broke into New England because of Omega Black, and Omega Black broke in because of Osiris. That's how that all goes through Uncle Osiris.
Wow. Is there a moment like just being on the road with those guys going to New England with Osiris or Dash or anyone that sticks out?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because you guys are coming down monthly, I think, for a while.
Every month, Chop number 2 every month, and then we're hitting TOS pretty much monthly too.
Nice.
We were in New England more than we were in New York. It was great.
Yeah.
We didn't do hotel stays too often. We normally drove back, but we stayed at a hotel, the 4 of us. Dash and Greg were arguing about something, as always. Me and I believe myself and Dash, if I'm not mistaken, shared a bed. You wake up, Dash is just. I say this wearing a purple shirt, but the man is the color purple.
Yeah.
Wakes up, walks away. There's a purple stain from his do-rag on the pillow. So we're cracking on Dash. And somehow it turns into all of us taking turns actually like just freestyle wrestling each other, like freestyle rules, hitting the man down. We're all going to town, just straight shoot on each other right before we're about to go to Pawtucket
nice.
to work these shows.
Yeah.
That was a great day. It was all the arguing. It was the purple. It was hilarity. It was me and Osiris going to a corner and praying. It was that little 3-hour morning was everything that Omega Black at that time period was about in one little beautiful moment.
Yeah. When you especially talk early on in your career, what would you consider your first big opportunity?
First big opportunity. Wow. Outside of the schools, because I got to wrestle for the schools, obviously. Wow. I think my first big opportunity, I don't know how big we consider big, but TOS changed everything for me.
Nice.
You know what? Yeah, it's gotta be. I was gonna say my Delaware shows, but no, TOS really changed a lot for me, because once I was working those training days, there's a handful of people in a building. It's not that big. I met so many people because of that, and I learned so much from Slick Wagner Brown, I wish I could put him on my trainer list. Technically, he's not my trainer, but he's my trainer away from home, right?
Nice, yeah.
This is the school away from school. I love Test of Strength as a company, as an organization, and as a school, and as a brotherhood. Absolutely adore them. They're my first big opportunity as far as I'm concerned.
You talk about Test of Strength, getting the reps and everything. What was so special about Test of Strength?
Slick Wagner Brown.
Nice.
It starts with him. It starts and ends with him. He's insane.
Yeah.
And he's hilarious, but he tells you the truth, and he doesn't sugarcoat. He will laugh in your face and tell you you're terrible, but he'll also tell you why he said you're terrible, and he'll explain to you in a way that you can actually digest. So that's the thing with Slick Wagner Brown. If you're spending time around him and you're offended instead of thankful, then you don't have a student mindset.
Yeah.
You'll have to change your mindset if you're going to be around Slick. He's not here to make you feel good. He's here to make you good. Nice. Whether you're a student or he's just allowing you to wrestle there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And speaking of Test Strength, for you, what does that mean to be the first ever K1 Classic champion? At the time, I think it was the trophy, right?
Yeah, man, it was supposed to be a tournament.
Yeah.
And they turned it into a championship. So I had no idea. That means so much to me.
Yeah.
I'm so glad there's still people who know that happened, because and I hope Jermaine Marbury listens to this, because there's some wrestlers out here like the young Jermaine Marbury who would have the audacity to walk up to me and go, "Hey, brother, you know what you do really well at? Test of Strength. Why don't you wrestle there?" And I'm like, "I'm the first K1 Classic champion." He goes, No, I think that's Sammy Diaz. I'm like, no, it's me.
Wow.
It was me. And so I'm just very happy people still remember it, but It was really important win for me. I just wish that I was able to sustain a longer reign with it.
Mhm.
But it's such a I'm so happy to have that part of history that can't be taken away from me at a place that I love.
Who ended up defeating you?
It was Sammy.
Okay, because yeah, that lineage is nuts. You, Sammy, Mike Skyros has a crazy reign. You started it all.
Yep, yep. That championship. Listen, no offense to TOS championship. I think the most prestigious championship at Test of Strength is the K1 Classic Championship.
Nice. Yeah. Early on, you said originally your goal is to hopefully wrestle a little bit in New York City, hopefully pay a light bill. But for you, how did it feel ultimately getting to wrestle for AEW?
Yeah, no, that was you can ask almost anyone who was around me at the time. I told everyone that would listen. I'm still wrestling. I still love it. I'm still gonna push. If I get nothing else from wrestling, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
If I accomplish nothing else,
Yeah.
if I had my last match, I'm good. I wrestled on TV. I wrestled in an arena. I wrestled on Dynamite. No disrespect to Dark or ROH or anything. All that's great. I wrestled on Dynamite against former world champions. I, I did that, and I looked good, and I looked like I belonged because I do, because I belong there. And when I was backstage there, I could tell that I should be working there. It felt correct. But if nothing else happens, it was the end of the movie for me. Someone play "Living My Life Like It's Golden." We're done. We won. It's great.
Nice. And I gotta ask you, originally, how does Brother Greatness go to Wrestling Open? Because you've done so much there. Originally, it started off as an open mic night, but for you, how does Brother Greatness get there?
Yeah, great question. So the first Restival happened, right?
Okay. Yep.
The very first match on the very first show of the very first Restival is Pizza Party, and it's myself versus Little Mean Kathleen on Pizza Party.
Nice.
In what is just a hot mess of a match.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that match. Just dropping poor Kathy on her head. When I finished the match, and no one really knows this, but I was planning to kind of call it quits around that time. I was very down on the idea of continuing to wrestle. So Leroy Green tells me, hey, Beyond Wrestling quote tweeted you saying that they'd like the match. I forget the term, but pretty positive. And I'm like, well, that's great. I'll remember that when I'm done with this. And he's just like, maybe you should talk to them. Go talk to the powers that be, talk to DC. Introduce myself. Cool. Me and my wife, my fiance at the time, we drive up for Wrestling Open episode 0, the soft open.
Yeah.
Sat in the crowd, watched the show. Great show. I don't think anything of it. I think, cool, but I decide I'm still wrestling.
Yeah.
Episode 3 comes up, and the Wrestling Open reaches out to me. Hey, listen, are you interested in wrestling here? Yeah. Add myself to their group. 2 episodes later, I'm booked to wrestle CPA on the first February show, episode 5, I think, of Wrestling Open. And from then on, thanks to Sidney Bacabella, who said that Brother Greatness should have a mic and should have an opportunity to pray before his match, I took it, I ran with it, and I'm a Wrestling Open regular. If I'm not there, it's often because I can't.
Yeah.
But that's home, and I was there consecutively for almost a year and a half, every single week, with the exception of Thanksgiving and June 27th. I was there every single week for almost a year and a half straight.
Wow. I gotta ask you, originally Wrestling Open, when they come to you or how this idea comes, what are your original takes on the Church of Greatness? Because from what it started as to what it evolved to, it's insane.
Yeah, the church. So the thing with me in wrestling, and with me in life, I'm always service focused, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for wrestling's a very selfish place.
Yeah.
By the art of what it is. For me, I always want to service the show. So when the possibility to do the Church of Greatness came up, my first thought, I didn't really love the name at first, because I questioned in many ways the religious aspects of such a thing. And spent some time speaking to some leaders in my own personal life, and found solace within the name. Then we started discussing who's in it, and as you know, I have a good relationship with so much of the locker room.
Yeah.
So the answer was essentially anyone could be in it that wants to be in there. And it took a life of its own because you see this revolving door of people who were in and out of the Church of Greatness for almost a year. And once honestly, once the Steves are in there and the Even Stevens decide to really, they're like, no, we want to do this. And you see them diving into it and they're coming with robes and they have candles and they're getting really into the entire concept. And we're praying before the matches. I always prayed with anyone in the Church of Greatness. If you're in the Church of Greatness, you prayed with Brother Greatness. I had an actual prayer with us in the back before we get out there.
Nice.
To bless the fans, bless the match, keep everyone safe. Every single match.
Yeah.
Every single match. So we go out there and we do any match, every promo. We go out in there and do that. So it became more than, for me, I don't like things to just be a gimmick. I want it to be legitimate. So if you were in the Church of Greatness, no matter what your belief system might be, your faith, what have you, you were spending at least a little bit of time in prayer just by being part of the Church of Greatness.
Nice. For you, I gotta ask you, when I went to One Wrestling Open, the atmosphere was insane. For you, what was it like getting to walk out with the 5 members of the Church of Greatness, with you included, the 5-on-5 match, Not Like Us? Because that room was insane. The energy was nuts for that one.
And there was nothing beats the world famous White Eagle when it's packed up on a specialty date. And at that time, I wasn't wrestling at Open very often. I was always on commentary, as you know, and I was always doing managerial work. I hadn't wrestled in their ring for some time. It was overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was legitimately overwhelming, especially with the people in that match. These were the guys who were carrying Wrestling Open at that time. You're talking Ichi, you're talking Tyree Taylor, Sammy Diaz on the other side. We just have champions and people who are always fighting for championships. Yeah. It was a different kind of vibe, to your point. It was overwhelming, and I think the best part of it is, even in moments where I felt I could have executed a move better or did something better or went to the right crowd member a little bit differently, executed my education a little better, the crowd is more than forgiving. They're just so excited that you're there and doing it because we've created this relationship over years.
Yeah.
It's beyond wrestling at this point. Well, no pun intended. It's past wrestling at this point.
Whose idea was the spot where you, like, all of them, like, got on, like, the hands and knees and you did, like, the stairway?
The stairway to heaven spot.
Yeah, who thought of that one?
That was, if I'm not mistaken, no disrespect intended if I mess it up, I think that was a tag team between Tyree and Ichiban.
Nice.
I think they came up with it together, but I think it was Tyree's idea first.
Okay.
But they were the ones talking about that. And I'm just there like, excuse me?
Mm-hmm.
You want me to? All right, let's give it a go.
Yeah. And then ultimately at the end of that year, to see especially, we had Fancy Ryan Clancy and Bacon in the main event, but the match right before that, to see the Stetson Ranch and the church, all that year building that up for you, what did that mean? Especially being a vital part of that match and that whole storyline in general. I mean, you guys had to leave the White Eagle. You guys sold out that place.
Yeah, sold out the Palladium.
That's crazy.
It was the second most. It was the second greatest storyline I've ever had the opportunity to be a part of. I'd say 2 or 3, probably 2. Second greatest storyline in my entire career, anywhere. Yeah, definitely top 3, probably number 2. It meant everything to me because even though the main event was well built and the entire show was fantastic.
Yeah.
Gabby threw it down. Even the people like Lauren's debut was insane with the whole thing with Paris.
Bio Crew, they delivered at the beginning. Yeah.
Bio Pro kids are fantastic.
Yeah.
But to me, showing a little bit of my ego there, a little bit, I guess, I felt like people came to see us. Yeah. I felt like we were the draw. I felt like we're the thing that everyone wanted to see. How is this going to end? And that match, despite the way it ended, because, wrestling, but for me, so much of it is legitimate and real. And there were tears in the back at the end of that match because we understood what was coming next for the Church of Greatness. And we all got so close and we prayed for one another and we reached out to each other when we were sick and injured and our careers were intertwined and we all had deep relationships with each other before the Church of Great. Because I've known Tyree Taylor since like 2014.
Wow.
I've known Ichiban since he debuted because I was at TOS the whole time. I've known Sammy Diaz since his first couple months in the game. Mm-hmm. I've known Lucas Chase for a really long time too.
Yeah.
I've known all these people for years.
Wow.
And the conversations were deep before the Church of Greatness. And then we got to all do this together.
Even better, yeah.
It's crap. Well, we are buying shirts together. It's a whole to-do. But jumping off that cage, wow,
Yeah.
awesome. Favorite part of the night.
You said that's top 2 or 3. What's number one storyline you've been a part of?
By far and away, and no one comes close, and no disrespect to anyone, Tyree Taylor and the church, and honestly, Brother Greatness, but Tyree Taylor and the church versus Dezmond Cole.
Okay.
Greatest storyline I've ever been a part of. I don't know if he'll ever be defeated.
What's so special about it?
Once again, it was, as you could probably tell, I like when wrestling is real. I like when there's that line becomes very difficult to blur, right? And with me, a lot of what I do is real.
Okay.
It very real for the
Yeah.
storyline. The story for myself and Dezmond specifically spoke about his actual relationship with his family. It spoke about his actual insecurities involving professional wrestling. It deepened our we went from acquaintances to very close friends due to the storyline. And it told a story that I wanted to tell for a while, where you have someone trying to make something happen and they get exactly what they want, but it might not have gone the way I want. The whole point of the story was Dezmond Cole never won a match at Open.
Mhm.
Brother Greatness wanted him to win a match.
Okay.
I just wanted him to be successful at Open. Through the storyline, he became successful at Open by whooping my butt.
Okay.
I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
I just didn't exactly get the way I wanted to. And I sincerely wanted Dezmond to be that good, because I one of the 5 best wrestlers in the Northeast. It was all true, and I get very aggressive sometimes.
Okay.
And I've spoken to him very aggressively in the past about himself. And we've had disagreements because of the way I've spoken to him in the past, and you got to see all of it on screen.
Okay. I gotta ask you, when you talk about top matches, how is the opportunity for you to wrestle Effy for the GCW Championship?
Best match I had in 2025.
Nice.
Best match I had in 2025. Awesome contest. Loved the quote unquote characters, and for both of us, definitely not characters.
Yeah.
Both the characters coming together, and I think people were interested in seeing the way the Christian wrestler would work with Effy, and what do we shy away from it? Do we work with it? And there was nothing. There was no Effy and I were like peanut butter and jelly.
Wow.
It was natural.
Yeah.
There wasn't much conversation regarding wrestling. We went out there and we did it.
Nice.
And it was awesome. And the match was great. And I want a rematch because, obviously held onto the ropes and all that at the end. And it was the most significant championship I ever got to fight for.
Nice. And you mentioned his name earlier. How does the idea come for you to team with Stan Michael?
Oh, so I have to give him credit, even though I kind of don't want to, but I have to.
Yeah.
Joakim Morales, Battle Club Pro.
Wow. Okay.
Stan and I, Stan Michael's my student. Like I'm myself and Logan Black over at Technique to Training. We're his trainers there. And
Nice.
We were in Brooklyn. And he was my guy from probably like day 2, my guy. But we've become very close. That's my friend. We get along very well. He was at my wedding. Great guy. But we had never, even though we worked together in the mission, we never had a traditional tag team match together.
Okay.
At least not publicly.
Yeah.
Joakim needed a tag team, asked us if we could do it. We got in there. We did it for him in the Bronx. Came up with the idea of Melodies from Heaven relatively quickly. Just talking about different praise music that we like, because Stan is also of the church.
Nice.
And it came together so naturally that we said, this can't just be a one-time thing. Everyone's reaching out to us saying, hey, you guys have been a tag team for years, right? And after a while, we stopped correcting people. We said, you know what? Whatever. Do you want us to wrestle these shows? And we've had a lot of opportunities pop up. A lot of them we couldn't take. Mostly date restrictions.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's been awesome. But a lot of it is Joakim Morales' request to put us together that led to the ideas that were mostly created by Stan and myself.
Wow. One thing I got to ask you about last year for you, how long was this in the vault for you running your own show?
Oh, for All Black, everything that was,
Yeah.
I guess there's 2 answers to that.
Okay.
The big one is, for years and years and years, we could have been saying that Brother Greatness has been waiting to get to a show. In terms of what actually happened, that got put together in about 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, that popped up very quickly. I've been involved in the booking for various shows over the years, I helped book the women's division at the Bronx Wrestling Federation for about a year and a half.
Nice. Yeah.
I was involved in Black Girl Magic too, very
Yeah.
heavily, and a few other little things here and there that I won't
Yeah.
mention. But for Remarkable, I got in a conversation with Kono Capuccia. He tells me, hey, February's coming up. I already have a show lined up, but he said, if you had any interest in doing something here, let me know. And I said, oh, you want to run Black Girl Magic 3? You want me to put that together? He goes, no, like if you want to do your own thing, like it's totally up to you if you want to. And I was like, what do you think? He said, whatever you want to do. Like if it's Black History, do that. If you want to have a
Yeah.
Christian show, whatever you want to do. He's like, I trust you. I'd love you to just do something because I know you have ideas. I said no about 5 times, and eventually I just said, you know what? Let's give it a go. And
Yeah.
very happy I did.
How do you feel you did in 3 months? Because some people, as you know, they wait months even to promote shows, things like that. You put together an insane show, great house. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was wildly stressful.
Yeah.
I would like to never do it again.
I was gonna ask, is there a part 2?
Yeah, so there might be something,
Nice.
but there's nothing concrete yet. And it would be very different than the first go round. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. But it was tough, but I'm very happy with how it came out. Sold out crowd. Awesome turnout. People were really great. Matches were awesome. And we weren't much later than we promised the fans that we would be. So it was pretty good.
Who was the first company that you started doing commentary for?
Technically, in terms of doing it consistently, it would have actually been Wrestling Open.
Yeah.
I've done little commentary spots like for BWF, for example. I think it's technically the first time I actually put on the headphones for a professional company. I've done commentary for them once or twice for specific matches, but Open is the first time that I was a full-time color commentator.
Was that your idea, or how'd that one come?
That happened because I was trying to get a good look. Brother Greatness is trying to get a good look at different wrestlers on Wrestling Open to see who would be best for the Church of Greatness.
Nice.
So that was supposed to be something I did for a couple weeks. I was going to do it for 2 to 3 weeks, and once I made my selection, get off of the mic. But because of Twitter, more than anything else, and honestly, a lot of the guys in the back, due to that, the positive reaction from both, it just became, hey, can you do this one more week? Hey, can you do this one more month? Hey, can you do this for Beyond? Hey, you're the full-time guy now. It was like, whoa, okay. And it led to Daikaiju Pro. It led to BST. It led to everything else Rojas does. I'm involved. It led to a VPW commentary booking when I was out on injury. Yeah, it's really grown way larger than I thought it would.
Well, I gotta say, one of my proudest accomplishments last year or the year before was when I went to Wrestling Open. I got to call a spotlight match with Brother Greatness. Like, I think I was telling you, man, it's so crazy. Like, I met you when I was 12, and I'm commentating a Wrestling Open match with you. So thank you for everything.
Oh, that was such a feel-good moment.
Yeah.
And I just remember I was like, yeah, man, we need to get more of this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, we need to get you in this chair.
Yeah.
That felt so good.
Yeah. For
So,
you, no, thank you. You talk about it earlier. You mentioned Slick, you mentioned Red, and a bunch of people. For you, who would you consider some of your biggest mentors throughout your whole career?
Yeah, I mean, all of my trainers, I gotta give them each and every one of them love. The Maximo brothers, especially, especially Joel, especially Will, Whiplash and Captain Chris Cage. Gotta give them their love.
Yeah.
El Bronco Internacional, who probably was my trainer longer than anybody else was,
Nice.
and gave me the opportunity. He was the first person to really let Brother Greatness be Brother Greatness. He let me really be everything I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta give him love, and he taught me a lot that I've actually shared with a lot of other people. Things that I probably wouldn't say live, but just like great in ring. I gotta give it to Reefer, best trainer ever.
Yeah.
Amazing Red, who really helped finish me off big time, and I wish that I had more time there at Hog. I feel like I had so much more to learn. I wish I had another 3 years with him, but it wasn't in the cards. I gotta give love to Logan Black, who gave me a lot. TJ Marconi, who put me in a really good position.
I love him. Yeah.
Yeah, he took care of me in the Bronx. He really did. And if it wasn't for him, a lot of the opportunities I received later don't happen.
Okay.
And then most recently, I got to give it to Kono Capuccia, who served as my trainer for a year and a half, and really helped get me sharp and keep me sharp. And definitely Elijah Burke, the Pope. Ever since we had our match at Remarkable, he has really had my back. He reaches out to me. We're in Barbados, and he taught me so much when I wrestled in Barbados this past year. He's been absolutely excellent. Just off the top of my head, those are the people who, and of course, Uncle Osiris.
Nice. How is the atmosphere ultimately wrestling in Barbados?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Greatest day of my wrestling life.
Really?
Even more so than Dynamite was okay. The story's over. Like, I'm good. I don't need anything else. Barbados was a goal I never thought was achievable, and I think it was realistic. There's no wrestling in Barbados. Barbados is home. My family's all there.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's home. I never thought that was possible. So my grandmother came, a bunch of my cousins, everyone who was out on the yacht. I had like 25 people there from my family doesn't go to wrestling shows.
Yeah.
Everyone in Barbados came out to see me, and I was the one person of Bajan heritage in the show. And I was main eventing. Came out, giant Bajan flag, as you've seen me do many a time. And the place is going bonkers. I'm making Barbados references, 246 and all that stuff that would never connect with an American audience. They're going ballistic. I came out to, I'm a Bajan, I'm turning my hips, I'm doing all the things that's of my culture. And I'm in front of a group of people who really know it. And there's over 300 people in the building. It was amazing. Amazing.
How do you originally get involved with that?
I, to the best of my knowledge, is because of the Pope.
Nice.
I wrestled the Pope. He's super involved in that. I know they needed a Bajan wrestler for when they finally decided to debut Barbados. And to the best of my knowledge, he brought me up and told them, hey, there's this guy. And I had already reached out to All Caribbean Wrestling years prior. So I was already sitting in the inbox.
Yeah.
They reached out. One thing leads to another. They actually have a show coming up February 13th back in Barbados, but I'm actually not able to make it due to a prior engagement. But I can't wait to be with them again on any island, but preferably mine.
Is there anything you notice about like the crowds? Obviously, you talk about they don't have wrestling that much, but is there anything like did they pop for like little things, or how are the crowds there?
Yeah, no, they're definitely excited for things that you wouldn't expect. Like they're getting louder for a suplex than Wrestling Open might.
Yeah,
they haven't seen it in person.
Yeah.
So they'll get excited about stuff like that way more than a New England crowd who's inundated with great wrestling all the time. I'd say that's one of the bigger differences. But also, I don't think a wrestler can go over there and shout out some of the stuff that they may have shout in the States and expect the Bajan audience to understand what you're talking about. But they also might chant something that you have no idea what they mean.
Yeah, it's twofold, yeah.
Like if they start going, cheese on, they're gonna be like, cheese on what? What are you talking about? Like the Americans are gonna be confused. But it's
both ways.
Yeah.
And then for you, I'm curious, what would you consider throughout your whole career your biggest test? Because you've wrestled a lot of people, but for you, is there any matches that stand out right off the rip?
Yeah, my match with Pope. Oh man.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big Pope guy. Big fan of his work.
Yeah.
Love DCW Elijah Burke. Loved his work with TNA. Love what he's doing in NWA. I got to play a little catch up actually since his return. Yeah, big Pope guy. So I got a chance to drive with him, talk to him, everything. I listen to Pope's point of view whenever I'm not a big podcast guy, but I try really hard to listen to that one. I got very nervous for that one. And we were match 1, and I didn't realize we were the first match on the card. So I wasn't as prepared as I thought I should be in the moment. But God is, and he just put me in the right, my Savior put me in the right spot.
Yeah.
I think, Pope was probably one of my biggest tests, if not the biggest test.
Yeah. And you mentioned last year that match with Effy, but would you say in general, you talk about steel cage warfare, is there a match or two that you would say defines your career?
That's a great question. The old answer used to be myself versus Chris Cage the second time in the Bronx for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Okay.
At that time in my life, I thought it was the best match I had ever had in my life.
Yeah.
I really did. This time a year ago, I would have even challenged that despite what happened in the match, myself versus Brad Hollister at Open. That match I thought was really, really special. A singular match, I think that might be the best I got for you. It might be one of those two. for very different reasons, I have to admit. But one of those two, those were both really special to me for very different reasons.
Nice. And when I talk about you passing me knowledge, for pro wrestling, was that something you always wanted to do? Give back and train and teach the next? You talk about all your biggest mentors. Was that something you always wanted to do?
Yeah, I want to do that for a really long time.
Nice.
For a really long time. Back when I was first at the BWF and I used to help out with a lot of the students,
Yeah.
I wanted to do that for at least 2 or 3 years before I had the opportunity to.
Okay. And then what's next for Brother Greatness? Because you talk about it, you blew my mind. We talked about originally when Wrestling Open started, that right before that you were debating that you were going to call it quits, and it was Leroy telling you this tweet, you do Wrestling Open. But what's next for you, Brother Greatness?
Yeah, that's the hard part, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's next? To be very honest with you, my goal going into this year is very much to increase my brand as much as possible.
Okay.
Right. So I want to wrestle as much as I can, at places that I consider quality, against opponents that I consider to be quality. I'm trying to be very balanced in that approach. So places that I may not have been for a long time, you'll see more of me there. Places that I've never been, you'll start seeing me appear, and you'll start seeing the quality of wrestling from me. My highest quality of wrestling at this point in time, I'd say if I have 40 or 45 matches in a year, I'd say about 3 to 5 of them are me wrestling at my full capacity, simply because I must service what I'm trying to do on that show.
Okay.
Right. So I'm not always trying to go out there. Most wrestlers talk about, I'm going to steal the show. I'm going to be the, no, I'm going to do what I think needs to be done that day.
Yeah.
You're going to start seeing a little bit more of this, for lack of a better term, selfish approach, where the matches are going to be grander. If you see me in a one-on-one contest in 2026, don't miss that contest.
Nice.
If it's a one-on-one singles match, don't put yourself in the position to miss it, because every singles match I have right now, I want it to feel like that match I had with Effy. I want it to feel like that match I had with Cruel. I want it to feel like the match with Sammy Chaos. I want it to feel like the match with Brad Hollister, Chris Cage, The Pope. I want it to feel with Marcus Mathers. I want it to feel like that every single time it's a one-on-one contest. That's what's next. Perfect, at least as perfect as I can present.
Yeah.
Ring professional wrestling, whilst also getting perfect storytelling through my roles as a manager at Wrestling Open and as a commentator in general.
Nice. Well, Brother Greatness, I can't thank you enough for doing this, and I can't thank you enough for everything over these years. However, every interview I've done has ended the same. Now, the day you decide it's all done, which isn't happening anytime soon, but the day you decide it's all done, what do you want Brother Greatness' legacy in pro wrestling to be?
Brother Greatness was the wrestling Christian,
Nice.
and through his actions, we all knew it was true.
Nice. I can't thank you enough, man. I said it early in the interview. 12 years old, met you, drew the picture, seen you at MAW, and all these years later, going to commentate with you. Thank you for everything.
Brother, thank you, man, because that stuff is so, as you now know, it's so significant to all of us.
Yeah.
And this is just the beginning. We're going to be working together, doing various different things so much over the years. I'm looking forward to it.
I can't wait. Thank you for everything, and thank you, everybody, for watching this episode. This was Best for Business.
Thank you for watching this episode of Best for Business. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, because this is Best for Business.